I know is really going on in their lives.
Yeah, it is a tough thing to do, to look at the social media, also watching the news, listening to the radio. I mean, if you want a surefire way to increase your stress levels, that's where you go. You go online, you turn on the 6 o'clock news, you turn on the radio, and you're going to hear that all the time. And that's why it's so important, which we've talked about a lot, to develop the perspective of a positive mindset. And if you can develop a positive mindset and realize that for every negative, there's a positive that overpowers that, it's very, very easy to do. And one of the greatest cures for stress is to just take out a sheet of paper and start a gratitude journal, and just start writing down everything that you're grateful for, all the great things that are happening in your life, and go back to that the next time you see a post on Facebook or this or that or whatever. Positivity overpowers negativity every time, and you have to develop a practice of that. And building and maintaining a positive mindset is really, really an effort that you should put in. And once you do, it's really going to help you out a whole lot. And gratitude is the key for maintenance. Once you got it, you're going to automatically start looking at things and feeling gratitude. And gratitude overcomes negativity every single time.
Yeah, gratitude is another great way to beat stress. Something along the same lines as a gratitude journal is to keep a running list of your accomplishments, things you've done that you're proud of. Because both the gratitude journal and the list of accomplishments, when you start feeling down, you can take these out as reminders.
Yeah, absolutely. That list that you're talking about is what's called a victory log, which is just taking out a sheet of paper, writing down every accomplishment that you've had in your whole life, if you want to start back at your childhood. But if you write down all the great things that have happened to you, all of your accomplishments, the next time you're feeling down, you're going to have a list so long that it's going to take you a long time to read it, because that's how much you have going for you and have had for your life.
Exactly. And again, we started talking about avoiding stressful situations. Don't pay attention to what's going on social media. And it's not easy to avoid certain things, especially depending on what you do for a living or what your hobbies are. Certain things are always around. Chip mentioned, a huge source of stress can be the 6 o'clock news. And because I do radio shows where we're actually talking about current events in the news, I'm sort of caught in this thing where I can't just ignore all of it, because I have to know what's going on to talk about it on the radio. But periodically, when I know I'm not going to be on the radio for a little while, when I know, I'm taking a vacation from that, I will take a week and just not turn on the news, not pay attention to it, and just take that time off away from these stressors. And that, I'm not going away somewhere, but I'm sort of creating my own little vacation where I am, even though I'm still at work. But that's also a big thing, is vacation. There are I think they said there's something like, I don't remember the exact, there was a couple of million hours, or a couple of million days rather, of unused vacation time that Americans have and don't use. Take a vacation, even if you're not going somewhere. Take the days off, read a book, listen to music, create your own vacation where you're not dealing with all of this stress.
Yeah, as you were saying yourself, you were almost taking your own retreat from that by getting away from the news for a week. But one of the very, very positive benefits of planning a vacation is that you have something to look forward to between now and then. And being able to look forward to a vacation, or looking forward to getting together with family and friends, which is another great way to eliminate stress, is to hang around people that you know and love. That's something that really, really is important. And yes, you have to take out your calendar and plan a vacation in there so that you do that.
Yeah, that's a great point. In fact, it actually made me think there was a line in the TV show Mad Men where they were talking about how hectic things were and what was going on. And one of the characters actually says, when I get like that, I pull out a calendar. When I look at the calendar, I realize there's almost always something to look forward to. And that's very important because looking forward to something gives you that motivation to, okay, yeah, I'm stressed right now, but hey, I've got that holiday coming up in 2 weeks, or I've got that party coming up that I'm really looking forward to, or I'm going to that concert. Whatever it is, having that to look forward to boosts your mood.
Absolutely. And on the other side of the coin, having that gratitude journal to record what happens while you're on the vacation is really, really important also. I know I've told this before when we've talked about other positive things, but for the last 5 or 6 years, I've been keeping the gratitude journal for myself in the form of a spreadsheet where all I do is put the days of the year down the left column and I just write something every single day that I'm grateful for or something great that happened. And it was only about 6 or 9 months ago that I said, okay, I have all this history here. All I'm doing is adding it to it every day. Why don't I just go back and read what happened? And it's just so cool to go back and look at all the different things that you've done on the same day in past years and so on and so forth. Things come back to mind that you've totally forgotten about. And it's also something that you realize, you got a great life going on. And the next time that you are getting down and you want to compare yourself to other people, which is one of the biggest things that happen when you are looking at social media, as you say, you're comparing somebody else is having a good time. At this moment, I'm not, so I'm upset. Positive mindset can help you raise your self-esteem just by working on that person in the mirror. Realize that you got things that other people don't. And again, it's just the way that you look at things.
Exactly. And being able to look back on these things, creating memories. When those memories come back, the emotions that those memories are attached to also come back. I actually just had this happen yesterday. A friend of mine from college posted that it was her sister's birthday. Now, her sister is mentally challenged, and she always, wanted to take care of her, all of this. When she posted that it was her birthday, I remembered a story that she had told me about her sister. And I responded to her on social media that I just flashed on this story and I, told her which story it was. She had forgotten about the story, and bringing back that memory, all of a sudden it was like, oh, yes, and she's laughing about it, and it brought back those emotions. So being able to remember these things, and sometimes it's important to associate things with a memory, a smell, a sound, because when that happens, when you smell that or hear that sound unexpectedly, it brings back that memory.
Yeah, most of the time when we're thinking about the past, we're dwelling in it and the bad things that have happened. And so it's really, really wonderful to automatically have something that you can go back on positive just because you're writing it down. And that's something you can go back to at any time. I start my day by writing like the gratitude journal for yesterday and then looking back at what's going on. But you can do this in the evening or whatever. But once you start doing that, it's right there for you and you can go back there anytime. And it's great to be able to think that you're going to remember everything as a human being, but we all know that we forget. So
Oh,
having it
yes.
very, very good.
Yes, memory is fallible. There's an old Chinese proverb: the faintest ink is better than the best memory. So you do want to, and that's something else, we're talking about wallowing in the past. It's about your perspective. When you look back at something that you wish didn't happen, maybe a tragedy, maybe just, something that was negative, it's important to remember that had that not happened, you would not be the person you are right now. Every experience that we have shapes who we are. And I was telling my wife a story about my great grandfather. Now, my great grandfather was not a successful man. He was not, he's looked at in my family as not even an intelligent man. But she made the comment that if he had not done what he did, we might have actually met in Connecticut rather than in New York where we did. And I told her, no, if he had not done what he did, I wouldn't be here because my parents would never have met. So even the things that are ridiculous and stupid and horrible, they all lead to things happening that shape who you are. And once you're happy with who you are, you can't get rid of any of those events because that's what made you you.
Absolutely. And again, it's so important to really take a look in the mirror and realize that that person there is really cool, and you are very unique. And the bottom line is we all have to work on our self-esteem because we are our own worst enemies, and most of the time we let negative self-esteem result from what other people think about us, or from watching the news, or from doing this. It's all self-inflicted. So you can self-inflict happiness on yourself too by developing a positive mindset.
Exactly. Your self-image, your mood, you have so much more control over that than you give yourself credit for. And that helps deal with the stress. And that's something else. I said to someone the other day, they were talking about, well, I'm always stressed out. We're always in these situations. It keeps happening over and over again. And I said, yes, these things keep happening over and over again. But I don't know why you're stressing about this because we always get through them. So you can focus on the stress part of it and, oh, this is difficult. I have to do this again. I have to deal with this. This is a problem. Or you can focus on the end going, yes, well, I've done this before. I've gotten through it before. I'll get through it again. And that helps you deal with that stress, knowing that, yes, you can handle it.
Absolutely. In Monty Python's words, always look on the bright side of life.
Exactly. All right, so we're actually coming up on the end of our time here. So, Chip, what do you think is a big takeaway for our listeners?
Well, stress is always going to be there, but the only thing that we have is the present moment. And how we respond to the events in the present moment is our choice. And if you can take some of the techniques that we talked about today so that you can have a positive response to the events that happen in life, it's going to help you out a whole lot. And one of the best is just to pause before you respond to something. Remember, reaction is just a feeling. Response is an action. So if you can make those positive, you're going to be a whole lot more positive and have a lot less stress in your life.
Absolutely. I think for me, the big takeaway is that we can control the stress in our lives. Stress is how we're reacting to what goes on. So if you don't let it get to you, if you don't let the stress bother you and focus on, okay, yes, I can get past this, I can do this, stay positive, and the stress will have a much less of an effect on you. And if you're in a situation that there is an external stressor causing this over and over again, get away from it, change your life, because you have that power. You've been listening to the Success Showcase, and we're actually going to be taking a few weeks off and coming back with a brand new look and feel to the podcast. So we will see you when we return, and you will be able to catch us at xvadio.com/podcasts with all of our archives. You can also find us at the Apple Podcasts app, Google Play, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and wherever you find podcasts. Remember, make this your best week ever and make next week even better. See you then.